this is where we say goodbye to Simon and introduce our next guest, because this is the issue we're talking about now. If you recognise you're an alcoholic, a drug user, or even a sex addict, you want treatment, but where do you go? Your GP? Simon, don't go right now. You might want to listen to this. A therapist, perhaps. Would you give any credibility to seeing an exorcist? The Reverend Betty King uses exorcism as the answer to some very modern woes. And here's her Sunday stand.
The devil is real. For God has given me the grace to cast out the demon. Because God has given man free will, the devil can deceive us into acting against our nature. These evil spirits can take on many forms. We've seen the enormous evils like Hitler, pedophiles, murderers. But the devil ought not to be feared, because God can give the strength to cast out these spirits out of people if they are willing. I have dealt with both men and women who have come to me filled with a spirit of lust, and this was destroying their marriages and relationships. Whilst we were able to cast these demons out, the person coming to us must be willing and repentant. And we then take them through counseling. At one time, I was demon possessed, and I know I tried everything. But it was when I found God that God completely set me free.
So welcome to Reverend Betty King, and if you've got a webcam, you can make your point on Skype. You can join the conversation on Twitter, phone, text or email. The details are all on the screen. You say you were possessed by demons?
Yes, at one time in my life, I was addicted to alcohol. I grew up in a home where my mother never drank. I never saw my mother drunk. And a lot of people will say that I saw my father, my mom, or I saw these things in my home. My mother was a very godly woman, and I never saw her drunk or even smoke. And so when I was going through certain challenges in my life, although I knew to pray, I felt drawn actually to alcohol. And I just took a sip of vodka. Then within about a month or so, I was addicted to alcohol. I used to drink about 2 bottles of vodka a day, and would smoke about 40 cigarettes. And my children were very young at the time. My youngest child was about 6 weeks old. And although I knew in my heart that what I was doing was wrong, I couldn't stop it. I used to call my doctor to say to her, can you give me something to stop drinking? And it was like a struggle. I would wake up in the night. I remember one time, I actually got up and ordered a taxi about 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the only place I can buy alcohol, which was in Willesden Green, and left my son in bed alone with his elder brother to go and buy alcohol.
When your children were very young?
Very, 6 weeks old, my youngest son was.
Well, many people in that situation would seek help of some kind, but did you seek an exorcism?
Yes, not straight away. I continued drinking, although I was in the church. Not straight away. After a while, where mind over matter, self-will, it wasn't changing anything. And I realized that, well, wait a minute, where is this coming from? You know, why have I suddenly given into this? And, you know, I'm passionate about it. I can talk to someone to make them listen why it's important for me to drink. And I realized that at any time that I actually read more the Bible or pray, you know, the desire to drink leaves me. And I realized I was demon possessed. So I went for deliverance. You call it exorcism, we call it deliverance. Yeah. I went for deliverance.
Reverend George Hargreaves, you are also a Christian. Do you recognise what Reverend King is talking about, or do you think there's something else?
Well, it's there in the Bible. Mark chapter 5, for instance. Many of the viewers would have heard of Legion. Jesus cast out demons from the demoniac, and they went into the pigs. Or in Mark 9, where there was a man, his son was having fits, and Jesus spoke to the demon and cast out the demon. So this is actually basic within the Christian faith. It's not the stuff of Hollywood movies. It's basic Christianity, that we believe in demon possession. We believe that demons can be cast out. Where there could be a problem, however, is seeing a demon under everything and a demon in everything.
That's right.
And this is why C.S. Lewis, I think, in the Screwtape Letters, in the preface to that, made this very point, that the devil exists, but will try to make you think either he's everywhere or he doesn't exist. It's one or two extreme to kind of undervalue the reality that the devil does exist. So theologically, she's on solid ground. Whether you can say there was a spirit of alcoholism that possessed her, I would not like to say. But from a theological standpoint, Jesus was an exorcist.
Francis, does it have a place in 21st century society?
No, I think all this is the most terrible rubbish.
You're an atheist.
You're saying that, Francis.
No, you're an atheist. Tell the viewers a bit.
But let Francis explain why.
Thank you. Let me say, firstly, I congratulate Betty King on overcoming alcoholism, which is very, very hard. And I've seen a very dear friend struggle with it and fail to do so. So congratulations on that. What I think you're doing is underestimating your own part in that. I think you took the decision to do that, and you succeeded. It seems to me that there was a contradiction right at the heart of that film that you made there. You said, God gives us free will, but at the same time the devil takes us over. And then later on you said, we have free will, but I had struggled and struggled and struggled, and I couldn't do it. Well, the fact was, in the end, you did do it. It isn't, and it's making it far too easy to say that some deus ex machina comes in from outside and firstly takes you over so that you don't have any choice about becoming an alcoholic. You had a choice about becoming an alcoholic.
But is that where the free will come in, Francis?
And then to say that later on you had no choice about faith. You did have a choice about ceasing to be an alcoholic. You made the choice, you were determined about it, and you did it. It wasn't because some sort of spirit. It seems to me that every single word, or every other word pretty well in that presentation of yours, needs to be defined. What is a demon? Precisely what is it? Describe it to me. Show me what it looks like. Okay. What is the spirit that you're talking about? Because I can't see them. One more sentence to say. What I can see is a woman sitting beside me who overcame alcoholism, and congratulations on that. To her, not to some sort of spirit that took her over and enabled her to do it, but to her.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Francis, what you just said. I wish I could take that glory that I had, completely, by my own, overcame alcoholism. Now, I'm a mother of 3 children, a mother with 2 young children, and I love my children. I don't think any mother or any human being will want to see 2 innocent children and want to drink. I did everything in my will. I said that, in my strength. Now, I did everything that I could to stop. I didn't. And I know, without a doubt, a shadow of a doubt, whether you believe in God or not, I believe in God. Now, one of the things I think personally BBC is doing brilliantly in discussing this, especially in this day and age where everywhere around us things are falling. If we don't take time to address this and people begin to drink, take drugs and various things, and there's an imbalance going on in this country, we might think it's okay. We chose to do that. The devil uses different opportunities to mess the lives of people up.
Reverend King, you obviously feel that you were helped in this way, but I want to introduce you to Drew Stedman, who is from Recovering Fundamentalists and joins us all the way from Columbus, Ohio this morning, and we appreciate your time, Drew. You experienced this, didn't you, as a teenager, but you don't think it's a positive experience?
Well, no, I don't. I was raised as an evangelical Christian, and I was taught to believe in the reality of demons. And as a teenager, several friends and I became convinced that we were being attacked by demons. And I was on a missions trip with my church in Mexico, and I thought I was being attacked. And then I entered a trance state, and several other teens in the church youth group started praying over me in a ritual-like fashion to cast out the demons. And that whole experience really created a climate of fear in my life, by reinforcing this sort of paranoia that I was being attacked by demons. And it also was reinforcing this dependence on a very dogmatic belief system for that cure.
What do you think actually had made you feel bad?
Well, I had a close friend that believed he was being attacked by demons, and this is a very prevalent belief with the other people I was associated with at the time, and I think it was just a serious state of fear in psychology that was at work, not anything supernatural.
Drew, that is completely untrue. as you said, you were raised in an evangelical church. God is love. And when you know that God deliverance is taking place, it comes from a place of love. Why would you fear?
How do you know God is love? I mean, what is this? Show me why God.
Francis, let me just finish. Let me just finish with Drew, because he says something. He was raised in an evangelical place. God is love. You know quite clearly. I don't know how long you were an evangelical Christian, but when deliverance is taking place, it comes from a place of love. Many of us were bound by these spirits because of a fear. One fear of another, fear of rejection. I was rejected, that's why I started drinking. Fear of rejection. And so I took on the alcoholism. Now when the love of God comes to cast out these demons, the love of God fills your heart. So why would you be afraid? What did they do to bring that fear?
That's all you're left with is fear.
You never left with fear with deliverance.
It's interesting that you call it deliverance because we would call it an exorcism. It's like a very clever rebranding that's been done there.
Well, that's completely inaccurate, Drew. You know, if you have that background, it's called deliverance.
Yeah, and you're saying that this is loving, but I can give a really good example. There was a man who shared his story on my website that he was consistently manipulated by his church group into receiving exorcisms for what they called a spirit of homosexuality. And this man is gay, and this caused him a severe amount of psychological trauma that he's had to receive treatment for in his life, and it's hurt him and it's hurt other people.
And this is. I just want to introduce another guest on this because this is not exclusive to Christianity. Jay Lakhani is from the Hindu Academy. Jay, as you're listening to this, what are your thoughts?
Yes, first of all, let me be very clear. The Hindu tradition does not recognize an absolute devil at all. It simply says that we sometimes show vicious characteristics that we've acquired through our animal evolution. So we do not recognize the devil at all. This whole exercise is highly dangerous because in a way you are preying on, very kind of vulnerable people in the name of religion. So we are very cautious and very apprehensive of the whole issue. And the idea of a devil possessing or interfering with humanity is nonsense. Hindu philosophy does not accept it at all.
Jay, exorcism is not forced upon you. You don't go to somebody's house and ask them to evict the house unless you have legal authority to do so. For that to happen, the person that needs deliverance have to ask for it. For instance, if you go to a doctor and you say to the doctor, you've got these symptoms, they will sit down, according to my clip, and diagnose why you're getting the headaches before he gives you the right medication. We never force anyone to be delivered. If you want to be free,
brief last word from Jay, and then we have
permission. Yeah, these people are vulnerable people, and you are really praying.
Which people, Jay?
It's very unfortunate. This is not acceptable at all. The Hindu metaphysics recognizes that one individual can influence another, like hypnotism.
Now here's the Jay. Can I say something?
Betty, I'm afraid we are out of time on that debate. Still so much to talk about. And Jay, thanks very much indeed for your time. And if you do have a view on that, please do go to our website and take issue with anything that you have heard this morning.